second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Heck,
I don't have anything.
well, it does say nothing, doesn't it? Suzanne,
Yes.
want to do the other first?
We may need to
Okay.
postpone it.
Let's take a look at our bids. We had 5 bids. Does everyone have this?
They don't.
I do,
have it.
I've got
Yeah.
it.
Okay, I'll read
Here,
it to you.
I printed it off, you can just look at mine.
We had 5 different people bids. At the opening, we had Bales and we had Cahill's. So Cahill's Construction bid, I'm just gonna give the bid, not the alternative bid. Base bid was $85,000. Bales is the company that did here. I don't think they wanted to bid. $158,650. Construction Services Group, $92,988. And Bloodhound Construction, $74,800. And JB Construction, $67,850, which is the low price. And I might add, he did not bid on the second alternate, but he was, if not low, close to being low on the third alternate. I can't remember what the alternates were without looking. But anyway, Jason Bewley was a little bit on that, and he does know it. He was coming because he's late and probably won't be here.
Are we going with the base bid originally? Just no alternates at this time?
Not right now. I think we can take a look at those. But it looks to me like
David, the alternate number 1 with insulation on the trusses and in the walls.
hang on just a minute. That was insulation.
Uh-huh. And alternate 3 was guttering
What was 2?
on the south side of the building with downspouts. So on Jason.
What was number 2?
Number 2 was that no-show
Oh,
metal.
standing seam roofing, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't
Insulation.
bid that, but
That's his gutter.
he's low enough that
So
the
this includes those two.
insulation was 2,600 bid. And the guttering 1,600, so we're gonna be able to do at least one.
Still be low. Right.
We can talk about that. He was gonna come, one of the things he was gonna do was come and talk to us about installation on the roof and how much it might cost and that kind of stuff. So, we need a motion.
Did you say JB, is that what it calls it?
It's called JB
Yeah,
Construction.
It'd still be
I'll
something.
make a motion. We're
Be a little low.
going
Yeah,
with
it'd still
JB
be
Construction on the building, and if I understood Suzanne right, he could start it in the middle of March.
He's talking about,
Completed.
last thing we got was March 18th and it'll take him about 2 weeks, weather permitting. I thought it's pretty good.
So
We've got a motion to accept JB Construction. We need a second.
Second.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. Now, Suzanne, why don't we do our resolution?
Okay, I have resolution number 2019-0101, and it's a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign and the city clerk to attest a contract agreement for JB Construction LLC, construct a metal building for the electric department.
I'll make a motion to approve 2019-0101.
Okay, there's a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Now, what we have, we're going to finish that, what we have is an official architectural document that he provided us with for the agreement between us and JB. It's a legal contract. We go in there and we put the dates made on March 18th and all of that, and then Jason will come in and need to sign it. And we'll have a couple of weeks to do that. So we've got that contract here. Okay. Marmon, clean up on Colin Wilderson building across from Harold office. They filled one roll-off, the other roll-off's about a third full. They'll pick up the full one tomorrow, and the reason I'm telling you is we're paying for the roll-offs and they'll reimburse us. The insurance company will. But they cleaned it out pretty well. They're not done, but there's still work to be done. But the building itself will be salvageable, I think. It's going to, there's still quite a little bit to do to make it salvageable. I mean, and but anyway, it looked a lot better. So that's why both of them are still down there. They're going to pick one of those roll-offs up in the morning. That's where we are on that building. And I'm doing some of the footwork for the insurance company because he's in Columbia. I've got a key. Anybody have any questions about calling the building? Or they call it. That one roll-off is 40 yards, and they've got about 15 yards in the other one, which was just sheetrock. So they've got quite a bit more to do.
It was just an issue that wasn't going to get any better unless somebody done something.
Yeah. Well, you know, the wood's all rotten around the windows. The door needs to be replaced. You know, it needs work. Let's see. Suzanne's going to go. Is that your state conference?
That is the state clerks conference, and that's where I'll receive the certificate for the 100 hours for that.
What you got? Okay. And that's in Columbia from the 9th to 14th. Okay, it should be gone. I was just going to talk a little bit about something. We've talked some about it, but not really. Seriously about it, because this is something that will go before planning and zoning. And you know, we've got a guy on the square that bought Fine Lines building. Nixon. Options, pregnancy options. And it's got an upstairs in it. So our city ordinance says you can live in a business building, one residence can be in a business building. You have to protect the integrity of the building, meaning you have to leave the front for business. Well, they're really talking about me living in the back of the drugstore and having a drugstore in the front, or having a clothing store and living in the back, or Harold, or a printing place and living in the back. But what we've got, I started looking around the square. You go over to Megan Manzalillo at the well. She's renting her upstairs as an Airbnb. Roger Wall's got an apartment above his office just off of 14 there by Chris Swattich. You come across the north side, you've got someone living in the basement, or I believe we do, at True Brew, and we do at the thrift store. And then you come on around the square. Dan Wade's got an upstairs with an outside entrance that's not used. And I know there's an upstairs in the building next to him, but I never could get a hold of Doug Ely. And it doesn't have an outside entrance, and there's nothing there. But Sue Wheeler's been living up above the boot shop, and that upstairs is owned by Carl Smith, and the bottom's owned by the Salades. Has an outside entrance, but no outside exit. unless she wanted to jump off the balcony. That's kind of what way I was looking at them. Brook Care has 3 floors, like James, it's got a mezzanine and a 3rd floor. All of their floors are offices, again with no fire escape. Jean's Healthway, same way as Brook Care. And sometimes her son has at times lived upstairs. So that's the west side. This side, little dog groomer, it's got a little upstairs and she's planning on living in it. And she has no way out there except through the front door. The children's shop, and this was kind of interesting, the children's shop has an upstairs with entry from inside. And when I talked to her, I said, we're trying to decide what we can do with this Fine Lines building. And she said, well, we're waiting to see if lofts are allowed because we want to put a loft here. I said, how would you get to it? She said, this building used to have an outside entrance. And I didn't remember that. And she showed me where it used to be. If you're facing the children's shop, it would be in the right-hand corner. I said, did it have an outside exit? She said, no. So we talked a little bit about it, but there are ways to solve that problem. So, and your pregnancy option building, of course, it's got the upstairs. It's got an outside entrance, but no obvious outside exit. So Fine Lines building is different from any of the other buildings. You've got an outside entrance, and there's an outside exit, which he told me had been bricked up. When you drive in the alley, you can see where it's been bricked up. So he's proposing that you can come in through the front, have a couple of lofts up there, and get out the back. So I just mentioned that. I mean, we're having to maybe look at an ordinance or change it. And I've done some looking. Most of the places don't have an ordinance for lofts. They treat lofts like it's a house. They make sure that it's got a fire exit. They make sure that the plumbing is up to code, that the wiring, especially the wiring, up to code. And of course, you've got to have a fire escape. Now, let's see, Brook Care's actually got a metal fire escape still on the back of the building. And there may have been some more at times on the back. So that's another thing that we're probably going to have to look at, have people look at a way to get out. And there are all kinds of fire escapes that hook on windows and things like that. So that, I just mentioned that. That's something that planning and zoning is going to be looking at. What this guy wants to do is develop upstairs, rent it out, and then it gives him a little income to work on downstairs. So planning and zoning will work on it, and we'll see that somewhere down the line.
Yeah, most communities are moving that way. I mean, they're allowing lofts, you know, especially around the square. I think it would be an asset.
Well, I think if it's up to code and you've got a reasonable way of getting out, if something happens, you know, I'm in favor of it. But we'll.
And that's what planning and zoning is going to look at. What?
Yes,
building
the
codes.
existing ordinance I think is well intended, but it really doesn't address lofts. Yeah. So.
There's a lot of little towns like that.
Yeah.
Big
I didn't.
laws.
You start looking around our square and you realize how many upstairs we've got in our buildings. We've got a lot of them.
Improve that.
Planning and zoning needs to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Parking, I don't think that would be an issue, but it's something that needs to be kept in mind.
Well, in talking to this guy, one of the board members said, what about parking? He said, people who rent my apartments will park in the middle square. So we would hope that's true. Okay. One of the things I did, just so that you know, Rick Graham is our maintenance supervisor, and James Rance is our assistant. You've got 2 maintenance people over in the park, JD and Charlie Rippey. And we have given JD a title. And that title is Park Maintenance Supervisor. With the stipulation that he knows that Sherry's in charge of the park. And that Rick Graham is in charge of maintenance. So when they need to pull those two off to mow in the spring when grass is growing like crazy, Rick Graham's got control over those two when he needs it. And Sherry is not off base and asking him to do things in the park. I did just mention that so that everybody kind of knew it. I did talk to Sherry before we did that, and I did talk to Rick and to James, and so they all knew about it. And JD, he didn't ask for a raise, he was just tickled to death. So,
His last name's Pierce.
Price.
Mhm.
Price.
Mhm.
Price. Pierce.
Price.
Price.
Price, JD Price.
Price.
That's close.
I sent an email to David Froling in regard to the bathroom at the park, just asking kind of what the timeline might be on that. And he wrote back, and he was waiting on one subcontractor to get back with him. He's got the drawings. He expected to wind it up at the end of March and the early part of April at the latest. So he's moving right along on that, because he's got all the drawings. That's only 18 minutes.
We're not holding you to anything.
Josh isn't here.
Who's on there?
Josh.
It's not my record.
No. I'm happy for you.
I bet you are. Is there anything else?
Are we going into close?
Yeah, I don't think we have anything.
We can do the minutes, thank you. Don't wanna-
Okay. You want to talk about that?
No, I'm just questioning, do you want to talk about it, or do we need to? I don't need to.
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, I mean, I don't need to.
No.
You need to.
Motion to approve closed,
I'll second that motion.
You what?
motion to approve the minutes from the
Oh,
closed,
okay.
last closed
I'll
session.
second that.
You guys are really pushing hard. All in favor?
Aye.
Gentlemen, if
She doesn't want to.
if there's no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
David, who bought the pine
I
lines?
think we did that once before.
I imagine we're done.
He lives in
I
Nixon.
can get you that name.
Oh,
but I
he's
don't
not
have it.
local?
No, he isn't. He
Used to always
He lives in Nixon. It seemed like maybe he'd worked for Springfield.
Oh, I won't know it, I guess.
No, we didn't.
Nice guy, but he's doing the work.
Does he have a plan for a business there?
He has a plan to redo the bottom, and he doesn't know what he's gonna put in it, except he knows it won't be a restaurant.
Or- Okay,
Because he's putting living quarters up there, so he doesn't want options alone.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
I was
that's
sitting
my
here
old
thinking
book.
about Howard's
Yeah.
office that was upstairs.
We lived
How what?
Howard's dental office,
Oh, yes.
that was upstairs.
I mean.
Wasn't there a back entrance?
I can't remember, it seemed like they were either
From his
21
upstairs
or
dental
23
office?
steps.
You went-
It's been blocked up.
That's the one that's been blocked up.
You
Okay.
should go by. He's working
Howard
over
went,
there.
Howard went in the exit.
Don't.
Okay.
I think they're talking about it.
It's probably not surprising.
No,
That was not
no,
pretty.
but
We had
I
it one
just
time up in the.
No,
remember
was it
him,
on the
I
corner?
just remember rumor always
I'm not
had it that he
wasn't
would go out the
in
back
my
door.
time, but I
Howard always had a way out.
Yeah, he did.
Half the time I sit in there, he's down at the corner of the store with Basil having coffee.
No.
Yeah.
But when you go